they need to sort their shit out. I mean, what is going on?
Oh, so United's probably the easiest game out of that, Josh, isn't it?
Blues' motto has got to be fuck or get fucked. Welcome back to Lose to Win, the podcast with me, Jack, Josh, Ben, and Super Ryan Puttick that's joined us this week. How is everybody doing?
All good, thanks, mate. Good to be back, and nice to have Ryan here with us.
Yeah, very good. How are you, Ryan?
Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, I'm good. Cheers for having me. Looking forward to this.
Good lad.
So, for everybody that doesn't know Ryan, he is, I would say you probably are our youngest, maybe you or Billy, our youngest members at Man v Fat Bournemouth, and probably one of our biggest achievers as well over a short period of time. So I'm just going to, if you don't mind, Ryan, I'm just going to run through a little bit of a roll call of your achievements and inflate your ego more than it probably already is, being the best keeper we've ever had.
Go on, yeah.
So from what you've told me, you've been with Man v Fat just over a year. You've lost 26 kilograms in that time.
Wow.
And you are
impressive.
A maintenance player. So again, for people that don't partake in Man v Fat, a maintenance player is somebody that's got themselves from an unhealthy BMI to a healthy BMI and are now in that position of maintaining that. Not really looking to lose any more weight, more adapting to a healthy lifestyle and continuing a healthy lifestyle. And also, I presume, probably working on your fitness, as you mentioned about some fitness classes and other stuff that you're doing. That's the kind of thing that is going to really benefit you now and in that position. So, first off, amazing work, mate. And also, thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute privilege to have our first maintenance player join us.
No, thank you for having me. As soon as you messaged me about coming on, I've been looking forward to this ever since. So, yeah, it's going to be good.
Good man. I've been looking forward to it ever since Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I bet.
as mentioned. So obviously, Ryan, if you want to give us an overview. So if we jump straight in, who's your team? Why do you support them? Any sort of favourite memories and who's your favourite player?
So I am an AFC Bournemouth fan. I am an AFC Bournemouth fan because of my dad and my uncle. We still go to games together now. My first memory of a Bournemouth fan was a friendly about 13, 14 years ago. We played Tottenham in a friendly. I was in the family stand and I kicked the back of a woman's seat, started crying, so my granddad had to take me out. So that was good. Yeah, that was a good memory. But my best memory of Bournemouth fan, definitely the first promotion. That was unbelievable because that was something me and Dad never thought would ever happen to get us into a Premier League. But
Super Mark Pugh's goal.
Exactly, and talking about Super Mark Pugh, that is my favourite. He is my favourite player, Bournemouth player of all time.
Is it?
I was been mascot twice with Bournemouth, and I walked out of him both times.
Nice.
He's genuinely the nicest person as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I've spoken to him a couple of times. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He used to live opposite my cousin in Bearwood, and we chat all the time. And he is a really, really nice guy. And when I've seen him kind of around the club, you just get that feeling that he's a top bloke. He also literally can chop anybody, can't he? He's got the quickest feet. I remember singing Mark Pugh's "Too Good for You" on the from the stands. He was incredible.
Arguably better at the Ronaldo chop than Ronaldo.
Quite possibly, yeah.
He came to play for us, Pugh, after he finished at Bournemouth. He was great.
He did, yeah. I remember that, actually, yeah. That's another one of the Bournemouth rejects QPR I've had.
Reject. right. It's just called pure reject, mate. That's hard.
That's horrible. I wouldn't have that.
That's true. He's a legend. So going back to why I enjoyed and thoroughly look forward to having Ryan on the show this week was based around the Arsenal and Bournemouth result. Inevitably, I wanted Bournemouth to play well, and I wanted Bournemouth to do better than they did. But inevitably they weren't great. But one thing that stuck in my mind from that game is this little bit of audio for you, Ryan. That's been in my head all weekend. The Arsenal fans having a whale of a time. I think I was pretty envious of sat front row in the South Stand, watching them all have an absolute whale of a time and almost like a carnival, wasn't it, really? But yeah, so the inside joke as well is that this week I'd literally just said to Ryan, with all the weight he's lost, he started to look like Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz pops up and scores his first goal for the club. So it was written in the stars, I think, Ryan, wasn't it?
To be fair, I like what Arsenal have done with it, comfortable in a game, building his confidence up. But I thought you sort of taking the mick out of Bournemouth as well, just sort of kicking them down even more. 2-0 down, not enjoying ourselves, not playing well anyway, and then you stick Kai Havertz on a penalty. Like,
pity penalty, man. Pity penalty, just like...
yeah, that's a good way. Pity penalty.
Bournemouth would love a pity penalty, wouldn't they? Or anything.
I'd take anything. I'd take a penalty. We haven't had one since Fulham in April a year and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Madness. Anyway, we digress a little bit. Josh, did you want to give us a little run through of Man v Fat Bournemouth this week, and we can kind of give our comments and have a little chat off the back of that, if you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of, and I would like to just put a disclaimer out here, and this is for Steve because I know he listens. That 99.9% of what I'm about to say is what he has written, and it's not me. As he was having a bit of a moan about how you guys would having a laugh with me about some joke I made, which wasn't mine.
He's always got to get in on it, and he always got to
get
in on it.
Precious, isn't he? Precious little butterfly.
Did you know he's got a book out, by the way?
He hasn't.
Yeah.
He should have mentioned it.
I felt, has he not mentioned it to you? I thought he would have done.
Yeah. Anyway,
just Josh, mate. We love the book. We love it.
Yeah, we do. By the way, I am reading it. So it's good. I'm really enjoying it so far. Anyway, so
it is good. I must say, I'm just over halfway through. So yeah, fair play. I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Yeah. It was kind of a week of contrasts this week, both on and off the pitch. So we saw teams soar to new heights and plunge to depths. So with some managing both in the same match. As a league, we lost 9.2 kilos, but with several players achieving big losses and several others seeing numbers go dramatically the wrong way. So there's a bit of a double-edged sword, really. It could have been so much more, ultimately. So it leaves our 200 kilo target still in reach, but only if everyone has been on a kind of their A game this week. So we'll see in the coming days when we turn up.
How much have we got left to lose?
Oh, God, that's a really good question. I didn't prepare for that.
No, I think it must be, it was 20, I think it was something like 28, wasn't it, we needed. So I think it's going to be up just under 20k. I think we're going to need to lose to hit that magical 200. Which might be
so
tricky.
I do. Oh, no, I do have it. We are less than 20k away. I don't know the number.
Good.
I just know we're less than 20k away, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But
Cool.
So for the scores and that, so our black team enjoyed a 7-2 pitch win, which was 11-4 with good ringer goals in the end, but were somehow left clinging on by our fingernails when the scale goals were added. Well, we say clinging, but it was fairly clear how we came unstuck. 7 of our players weighed in. None of us managed to lose weight.
Oh, gosh.
And 4 of us recorded own goals, which tells you it's pretty... I'm not going to lie, it was terrible, basically. I mean, it is great, genuinely, that we turned up, embracing the kind of accountability of the weigh-in, even in a bad week. But it's also a reminder that we're here for so much more than just football. So, fortunately for us, I guess, whites were lower numbers, which let us off the hook as we won 9-8 overall. So,
1 goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Close.
No,
that's an end of
not
season.
Great.
That's an end of season result.
Mate. Yeah, I would say we had a few people come back from time away, so a couple of them would have contributed to own goals. I myself, I will fully admit, I count myself among them. I put on, what was it? Quite a bit, I would say, in the end. I did have a bereavement last week. That's no excuse, but I just kind of gorged myself on the Friday.
Mate. Well, no, it is an excuse. It is.
Yeah,
you gotta just say fair enough for that, because nothing matters. It all fades into insignificance when things like that happen. So.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't actually planning to be there on the
mate.
Friday, and then last minute I was just like, "No, I need this," so I went. Yeah. Forget the scales.
First,
so
mate.
yeah. Anyway, so Blues, your Super Blues beat the Reds narrowly. Well, 18-15, both on and off the pitch actually.
Wow.
Recording a double-digit scale score for the 13th consecutive week.
There it is.
That's every week this season, by the way. It was hard on the Reds, though, because they scored 14 goals, adding for various weight loss achievements, which was mad, but still found themselves on the wrong side of the result. So it's mad. I know we usually have those 2 or 3 weeks in, but...
Blues' motto has got to be fuck or get fucked. That's it, isn't it? It's got to be.
Well,
the mentality is insane. Like you've mentality monsters. That's what Liverpool were called for such a long time, weren't they? And the mentality just to keep going with that and keep
that's totally it. That's totally
knowing
it.
that it's going to happen, knowing that if you do the right things. I jest with the whole fuck or get fucked, but it's a serious kind of point to it that you've done so well with it. And one thing, again, we've done the whole blow and smoke up Ben's arse, but one thing that you do as a leader of them, one thing as a leader of them that you do is you don't let anybody drop, you don't let anybody take a moment off, and it's not in a brutal way, because inevitably what you're doing is supporting them to a healthier them, but what you're doing is understanding what a difference a team makes and what a difference having that support around you makes.
Yeah, definitely.
And if we all could have a Ben as a captain, I think we'd all be a better team.
Oh, bless you, mate.
Yeah. I was going to say, it was quite funny. Before the game, Ben, we were having a chat, weren't we? And you were adding up your scores before the game even started.
Always.
We used to do that all the time, Ben, didn't we?
Yeah.
We kind of knew a lot of the time where we were.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this. The other day, and I was when after me and Ron had a chat about it, I was like, well, that what we tried to do, and kind of my philosophy is try and almost win the game before you've even stepped on the pitch. If you're confident that you've got X amount of goals in your pocket, you can go out and enjoy the game. You can go out and play freely. You can go out and do what you want to do, knowing that unless you get completely stuffed, like a 6 or 7-0, like we did to the Whites, unless that happens, you're going to be in with a good chance of winning the game. So if you're confident that you've got double figures in goals already in your back pocket, you can go out and enjoy yourself. But that can only happen when you've, like I said before, you've got the guys turning up, you've got them committed and consistent and bought totally into the system and what we're trying to do. And if you can get all of that together, it's win-win. Do you know what I mean? Because then you can go out and enjoy the game. And we had a great game of football, between us and Reds. It was really tight, and we ended up, 2-1 winners. But it was a really good game of football, really competitive, and also obviously super competitive off the pitch. And thanks to Tomo's percentage, we just about nicked it. So,
well, it's a great advert for the league. I know we say that about other football, but in terms of this league, that game itself, the mountains of off-field pitch stuff and a good competitive game on pitch, and it was close overall. It was a good advert for what we're trying to do. So
yeah, definitely.
Really good. It's funny because the Reds have actually been superb on the weight loss all season.
Really good.
Over 40 kilos as a team. And a big
impressive
reason why this season has been such a successful one for the league. So it's hard on them, and we play them this Friday. So we'll see how we go. It's funny. Greens enjoyed a hard-earned and well-deserved 3-0 win against the Yellows on the pitch, only kind of to be swept away in a flurry of off-field goals, losing 15-19. So, as we were saying, all this means that Yellows will take on the all-conquering Blues in this week's Cup final.
Yeah, it'll be a good
so
game.
Got that to look forward to. Yeah,
looking forward to that one, Ben.
Yeah, it'll be a cracker.
I'll be around to watch.
Putting a few past you, right? Always
You do, Ben. You do, Ben. I don't quite like conceding to you, but
you're in good form as well, aren't you, Ben? You got one or two last Friday.
Got one last week. Got a couple the week before.
Proper cheeky little goal, that one.
It was nice. Yeah, it was nice. Left-footed as well. Little check back on the right foot, popped it in with my left. Lovely. Tomo was having a good game in goal as well, so I was quite pleased with that.
Can you put him in goal for the final?
Who?
He likes a goal.
Oh, my Tom. No, I'm talking about Tomo in the Reds. He was doing well in goal.
Okay. I was going to say, if you have put Tom Davey in goal.
No, Tom Davey won't be in goal, mate. No.
There's no chance.
I'm hanging around to see that.
Centre.
I'm hanging around to see that goal.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of Tom Davey, because this brings us on to the milestones. So 2 more milestones this week. So both stepping into the 15% club, one of which is Tom Davey, who has lost 18 kilos since joining the club. And more than 10 kilos this season alone. So really well done. And Gareth as well.
Gareth as well. Yeah, he's kind of gone under the radar a little bit, isn't he?
He's down 15.7 kilos in that time. That is insane.
He's such a fit and mobile footballer as well, isn't he? I think he's so competitive. Is that competitive? I can't think of the right word, but he's so strong and reads the game really, really well.
Yeah,
I think the weight that he's shifted, I'm sure we'll have to ask him, but I'm sure he's already noticing the difference in terms of how he feels playing.
Yeah.
I know that where I've been up and down, I definitely know when I'm down and I'm feeling fitter and stronger. It makes such a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So we're definitely lucky to have Gareth on our team with weight loss and on the pitch, because like you said, he's a quality player and he's smashing it. off the pitch as well.
Yeah. Super consistent, I'm sure. It's one thing, actually, just as a funny anecdote. I say funny. Me, Greg and Anna went to the NFL and we were discussing about who you would have in a 7-a-side man versus fantasy team. So if you out of the entire league, you were picking players. Bearing in mind you have to pick weight and on the pitch as well. Yeah. So you can imagine how difficult this was, because
that would be tough.
I'm sure I could pick like 7 or 8 really good footballers. Some of them, but I know just from this week alone and this season that both Tom, Davey, and Gareth would probably be in there.
Yeah,
that's a strong midfield.
Yeah,
and yourself, Ryan, of course.
Thank you.
Go on, you've got to tell us the rest of the team now. You can't.
No, I don't know. This is the thing. That's as far as I got. It took me half an hour. It took me half an hour with them on the tube, and that's as far as I got for 3 players.
That would be tough.
Because it's just so difficult.
That would be really
so
tough.
difficult. Anyway, a big factor in the dramatic off-field swings this week, by the way, were the sheer number of hat-tricks. 18. There were 18 this week. 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
With Reds, Blues, and Yellows having 5 each. So insane numbers. 6 men. By the way, I won't name them again, as always. Unfortunately, 18 names, too many, but congratulations, lads.
Yeah, well done.
6 men went into last man standing this week. The most ever to reach week 13 by a long way.
Wow.
And all 6 survived. All of them scored another bonus goal for their team, and all get one more chance this week to do the same. And that would mean a rare, unbeaten season for them.
Yeah.
So,
that's so impressive. Well done, lads.
Really impressive, just unbelievable. Tom Davey, as we were talking about, sensational, has the rare honour of leading Team of the Week twice in a row, with Tim Winrow the only survivor from last week. So, and it's great to see a new player, Micah, making his first appearance in the side.
Yeah,
which is good. It's always good for new players to get involved.
Yeah,
especially it's a nice little bonus. So behind Tom Davey, who, by the way, lost 3.5 kilos this week.
Wow, he's absolutely mad. He's a machine.
Yeah, no. Micah lost 2.4 behind him. Then we had Adam lost 2.3. Kevin lost 2.1, and he's been consistent in there.
Yeah.
Tim Winrow lost 1.7. Johnny lost 1.5. Gareth, again, 1.3. And Tim Greenwood lost 1.3. So
done,
another
Timmy.
fantastic
great work,
week.
lads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really good.
A few questions around the league. First off, any early nominations for somebody that could potentially take themselves the what's it, Clubman Award? Ooh. Who do you think? Anybody that jumps out at you? I think there's a
Gareth.
I don't want to blow smoke up his ass because he's currently on the podcast, but I think, Josh, you deserve a shout for all the work you do outside the club.
No, but these are the things. I'd love to win it, don't get me wrong, but I've had a terrible season off the pitch, and it's not a good indication of. For me, a clubman thing is kind of an all-rounder. It's all good doing stuff off the pitch, but
you're a good champion for man versus fat, though, mate, and you're pushing it forward in lots of different ways.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, and that's part of it. That's something that Steve looks at, is to how people contribute, not only on their own journey, but how they contribute to others. And we're a team at the end of the day. We're a club at the end of the day. We're not just our own team, and so. I think you would be a worthy winner if that were the case.
Thank you very much. I do really appreciate
spot on.
it.
You have to win it, Josh. The three of us have already got one.
Yeah, well, literally, I was about to say,
I'm Who's the odd one out? Bit of trivia.
He doesn't want it.
Answers on a postcard.
I was going to say, by the way, I know we've mentioned his name a lot, but genuinely for me, Tom Davey, I know he's lost a lot of weight, but also just the nicest man.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
It's just, and he's always there really early every week and ringing and just it's credit. So
smashing balls in against Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to like him as much as I do because the amount of worldies he scores against me, but he's genuinely too hard. It's too hard to not like him. He's such a great guy.
He really is.
So supportive.
Absolutely smashing it for weight. I don't know if anybody saw his comparison photo on Facebook, but just a different person again, isn't it? It's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I would just say we are less than 20 kilos away, as I was saying earlier, from the 200 kilo season, with just 1 week left to play. It's a big ask, but we've managed to lose more than 20 kilos on 3 separate occasions already this season. So
wow,
not out of the realms of possibility.
The Blues will just do it themselves.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we hopefully make season 7 a record breaker? I couldn't believe it's season 7. Yeah.
Interesting times.
So Ryan, I wanted to ask you a couple of things about your Man v Fat journey so far. One of the things I actually wanted to ask you is what made you sign up for Man v Fat in the first place? Because I just assume, naively of course, that someone as young as yourself might just be a gym bro, and just go to the gym instead and not play in a Man v Fat football league. What made you join?
So yeah, it was definitely a prolonged thing. There was a long time coming before I started Man v Fat where I was insecure about how I looked, but I'd always try and push it away because, like you said about the narrative about me being 18 when I joined up, it was like, do I go into something this early? What will my mates think? Stuff like that. And then me and my family were away in Cornwall August of last year, and first day of the holiday, because we had a hot tub on our caravan, I got changed to go into the hot tub, just looked at myself and hated it, and just had to change. And obviously shout out to Dad, because Dad's done Man v Fat since the start.
Yeah,
he was straight, he had Steve details. I've known Steve before, but he was like, just give it a go. If you don't like it, you can always drop out. But honestly, I've said this to my mates and probably bored them to death of it. This is genuinely the best thing I've done and best thing I'll ever do, because obviously the community is so good, and the results in the space of a year I'm very proud of, and wouldn't have happened without Man v Fat for sure, because I was never a gym goer because I was too worried about being judged. So
thanks, mate. You're making us blush. Just
yeah.
Yeah. No, but I echo that. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder then, because I know you're playing goal. So what's your kind of footballing background then? Because obviously you've played before, so I assume that was a part of the draw.
Yeah, so that was a massive thing, to be fair. Lose weight and then play football. That was great, because I think before I actually signed up, a couple of times I did do the Tuesday footballs, did one inter-club as well. But yeah, I was a centre-back for 2 years, and then our goalkeeper got injured, and I've been a goalkeeper for about 10, 11 years. And that's just not changed, and I've enjoyed it ever since, to be fair. There's ups and downs, as you're seeing with Onana at the moment, but but I'd say as a goalkeeper, the rewards are so huge that it does outweigh the necessary low points.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But you're a good player on pitch, mate. So we know you get involved nicely in there. I know Tuesdays, Thursdays you do.
I enjoy that. It's really good.
Yeah. You want to be out on pitch more, don't you, mate?
I love it. I love it on the Tuesday.
I think I speak for a lot of the other people in the league. I think you are somebody that I would consider as a younger brother. I think we've all seen you grow from a very shy, sensitive young man to somebody that is more than happy to give somebody a little bit of shit back, and you take the banter a lot better than you used to. Bless you. I think that's part of your growth with us, and inevitably playing football with a load of fat blokes. You are still a young man in many ways, and I think you fit in so well. And as I say, I speak for a lot of us. I consider you as a younger brother and a really, really good mate and a good lad to have in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
And such an inspiration, mate.
Yeah, you only did one day of crying, didn't you, this time after Bournemouth Arsenal? Just the one day. You got it down to one day.
Yeah, it was but I always make sure on a Friday, even if it's this week, obviously I'm against you, Ben, late kickoff, I always make sure to get there early, because the community's great.
Yeah.
Like you say, the banter, everyone just gives banter to each other.
Yeah.
It does feel like a sort of family sort of vibe, because everyone's there for the same thing. Because like I said before, I wouldn't go to the gym because of the worry about being judged.
Yeah.
There's no worry of that at all. Literally, even first week, I didn't know any of you guys other than Dad and Brett. I still felt like it just clicked straight away.
Yeah.
And the nerves, I was obviously nervous for a new thing, but as soon as I got with my new teammates like Blacks at the time, I could just tell it was such a good thing and such a good community.
And you smashed it there, mate. So just diving a little bit into your sort of process. How did you go about it? What was your sort of philosophy behind losing the weight in the first place? Because you lost masses. Okay, yeah, so change of habits.
Snacking was a huge thing, so I'd get rid of snacking. Rarely snack. If I snack, it's apples, stuff like that. And a lot. To be fair, I'd walk a lot anyway. And obviously I play a lot of football, but like you said, I'm a goalkeeper, so it's minimal stuff. So I've started going a lot of long walks, and gradually as the weights come off, I've started doing some running as well, which I'm starting to enjoy. To be fair,
famous for your walking, aren't you, mate?
Yeah. Do you want me to go into it?
Yeah, do it. Go on, that's funny.
Yeah, so
tell us all about it.
So 2 years ago, I was just walking, as you do, to the train station at college, and it was relatively windy, nothing mental, and then a roof fully fell off the house and towards me, and I was about an inch or two away from the rubble on the ground as soon as it happened, and the clip went pretty mental, which at first I hated. Whereas now, looking at it now, it's funny.
How many views did it get? It was over 1 million, wasn't it? Was it on YouTube?
On one page. There's one page on like Instagram and TikTok which had like 3 million views.
That's
or something
amazing.
Mental. That was like close. That was like really close to the time. And obviously, I don't know if you boys know. I assume you do. I actually did an interview on the BBC for it.
I saw the article. Mate.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Some of the best captions are like, "I want to give this little fuck as this guy does." Like, literally just like a fucking house just fell down in front of you. You just kind of look down and step over the bricks and carry on walking.
But then I saw some comments. It's like, I can't believe how self-centered this guy is. Why do you not walk towards the car, check if someone's in there?
You'll always get
like I've got the power. Like I've got the power to like change that situation.
And what were you like 16, 17 at the time?
Yeah, it would have been 17.
Wankers,
I'm pretty certain on your interview, didn't you say they asked you and you just go, "I've got to get to college, mate."
That's right. Yeah.
That's just basically it.
I had to get the train.
I had an exam at college, and I had to make that train. So, I mean, granted, if I probably could have emailed my college lecturer and been like, "Something big's happened. I'm going to miss the day. Can I redo the exam?" And then there's videos I could have proven it. But I thought, no, well, I'm at the station now. I may as well go do it.
On a serious note, we're very lucky that you're even with us.
Yeah, totally.
You were a couple of seconds earlier.
Yeah.
You hadn't stopped to do up your shoelaces or hadn't stopped to let somebody cross or something like that. You could have been brown bread, mate. So pretty scary,
even more
really.
mad with that was probably the first time I'd walked on the left-hand side of the road rather than the right as well. So it's almost like something was telling me,
yeah, there we go,
stick to the left, because I'd always walk on. I'd always walk on that side on the right-hand side of the road where the house was.
And now I bet you walk on the left every time, right?
100%. Honestly, when I'm walking to the station for uni, I'm still looking up at that house, like just in case.
What did you do? Did you call your dad and be like, "You never believe what's just happened"?
I messaged Dad like, "What the hell has just happened?" And he was like, "I was like a roof just fell to my head." And he's just like, "Yeah, cool." And then all of a sudden, he walks our dog down that road just to like see what it was about, just to see if I was being like over dramatic. And he sends me a photo a few hours back, and there's like the cars underneath the rubble. He messaged me saying, "What the fuck?" I didn't realise it was that serious, and I was like, "Yeah, I know." It's mental.
Well, we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, but one thing I'm keen to understand is what's been so successful for you. What have you? I know you say you've cut out the snacking, but I think I speak for everybody else on the pod that I think our metabolisms are a little bit shitter than yours. So I think at the age you are, the ability to lose that weight is not discrediting anything you've done, but the ability to lose the weight is probably a little bit easier for you than us. But still, it goes without saying that you've done an incredible job. But what big changes, or even little changes, do you think you've made that's been successful?
So it's definitely not dinners, because obviously, like I said before, Dad's done this from the start. So the stuff that Mum was cooking was based on like Dad's stuff anyway for during the week. Mm-hmm. So it's more like meal, like obviously being at college and now uni, it was like meal deal choices, picking the healthier thing rather than what I like to call the Fat Boy Special, which is like the triple full English. That's what I'd go for every time. And then that's obviously what the massive build-up is. And then I cut out full sugar drinks, like just Pepsi Max. Like and now like I wouldn't go back. Like I don't see there's a massive difference. And even beforehand, I drank a lot of water as it was. Mm-hmm. But like making sure you get to that decent level of water drunk as well, because that's a big thing, as Steve did say to me early on in my journey.
The water thing, yeah, definitely. I've been talking about that in the group this week. People are saying they're hungry, and I'd still reiterate, when you're hungry, just have a glass of water. People go, "Oh, it doesn't," but it does. If you give your brain like 5 minutes to realise what it's done, it does help. Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Just a glass of water. If you're hungry, have a glass of water, wait 5 minutes and your hunger goes away.
Agreed.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Well, also keeps you hydrated, isn't it?
Exactly.
Oh, but it reminds you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I was always terrible for taking on fluids.
Yeah, me
I'd sit
too.
behind a computer for hours a day, and even if I've got a 2-litre bottle in front of me, which I deliberately leave next to right in front of in my sight line, because then I know to pick it up and keep drinking from it. Now, I didn't used to do that before, and that was problematic because I'd go 3-4 hours of meetings and I wouldn't have had anything to drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You're conscious. If you're like that though, and a lot of people are, you really got to push yourself to do it, and you've really got to try and get yourself out and get a glass of water and drink it. You've got to do it because it is key, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, thanks for that. I really speak for everyone and say you've done phenomenal, fantastic,
absolutely,
and you've got to the
outstanding,
promised
mate.
land for all of us.
Yeah, God, yeah.
So
Unbelievable work.
Long may that continue. I hope you stay there,
Thank
mate.
you,
And then you'll
guys.
have to come back on and give us the tips for staying in maintenance when we're all there.
You can be our
Exactly.
maintenance guru.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks,
So-
guys. Appreciate that.
Pleasure, mate.
No,
No
it's our
problem
pleasure.
at all.
For anybody that's listening in terms of real time, Sean Longstaff has just scored to make it 3-0 to Newcastle against
Oh, I love
PSG.
it. I love it, honestly.
Fair play.
That can't
just
even
don't-
been in their wildest of dreams, surely.
So
Unbelievable.
they've drawn with
Perfect
Milan
goal.
and they're beating PSG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On top of their group, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
Super Eddie Howe.
Fair play.
I love him.
I just seen that Leipzig have come back with City as well, so it's 1-1.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck City.
Well, I was going to say, should we move on to some football narratives and that?
do
Man
it.
City did lose a game. That's week.
No way. Where's
Unbelievable,
Scott when
right?
you need him?
Yeah, I know exactly.
That is
We can't
crazy.
use Scott's audio.
Oh,
Just
what?
terrible. Because we only done it 2 weeks and we already can't use it. I was
We
expecting to
saved
use it
50p
every
this
week.
week, though, Josh.
Yeah.
Royalty rights paid to him this week. Don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So my question really is a narrative, and it has come out slightly, with City slipping up. I know Liverpool ended up losing, controversially, which we'll get to. But
Yeah.
surely does it open the title race? Can someone actually win the Prem other than Man City this year? Realistically.
Before the Spurs game, I would have said Liverpool. And I do still think Liverpool. It was just such a strange game. Again, we'll come on to the VAR controversy and other bits and pieces. But the fight and determination they showed, nine men, and they were definitely in the game. They even had a chance to win it, I think. I'm seeing some really bad traits from some of the other teams. I think Spurs are just chugging away quite nicely, but I think the bad things I'm seeing is the Arsenals, the Man Uniteds, the Chelseas. They're just not as good as that I think they should be at the moment.
Yeah, do you actually think anyone will beat City to the title, though? That's really the thing. I mean, I personally don't. I still see Man, and they'll
No,
just
I
turn
don't
around.
either.
No,
I
it's
don't,
weird,
but I
'cause
think it is really closing up. I think if you look at some of the other chasing pack now, if you look at your Villa and your Newcastle and your Brighton and Tottenham, these are all teams that are starting to win games and win them really convincingly and starting to play really good football. So I think it's quite interesting. If you looked at the table now, I think there's like 3 points, isn't there, from top to 6, something like that. I know it's early days, but I think it will be quite interesting if City do slip up and lose a couple. I don't expect them to do that, but if they did, there are people waiting in the wings. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's going to be quite an exciting. I think it's actually quite an exciting season this season.
Yeah,
There are teams that have been out of it for a while that are coming back in and looking really good.
Do you reckon Spurs can keep it up?
I don't see why not.
I think barring injury, I don't see why not. But
Yeah, I
again,
think-
do they have the depth? That's the thing. When you pick up a few injuries, what's the depth of the squad like? Have you got players that can come in and fill those roles? It's difficult.
Well, I don't think they've got anyone to replace Maddison. He's already the most crucial player they have, isn't he?
Well, there you go. You see, so Madison, if you lose Madison, Son, Kulusevski, you lose those three, and we could argue Richarlison as well, I guess. But you lose then a couple of those. You've got no goal threat. You're in a bit of trouble.
I think they've got a chance to get stronger.
The big ones.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah,
They've got Benton Kerr, haven't they, on the injury bench, and he's a hell of a player.
He is a
I
really
like him
good
a lot.
player. Yeah, every Spurs fan I ever meet says, he's probably one of the best players they have. Like,
he is
just
good.
Yeah.
They've got some interesting
just-
midfield players, actually, haven't they? They've picked up a few. Sarr and Solomon, they're looking fairly solid. And their defence actually is looking much better as well with Udogie.
They're
and
lightning
Porro.
though. Their centre backs they've got just the whole back line is so
Romero
quick.
and Van der Ven, is he still?
Yeah, Van der
Yeah.
Ven. He's just
He's very
so,
impressive.
He
Yeah.
gallops like a horse, doesn't he? He's a big old boy and he can shift.
Yeah, it's very different
Yeah.
side, isn't it? Very different side.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, interesting.
big impact straight. Big Ange has had already.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one team that might have fallen off, and I hate to go there for my sake, but Man United. God, mate, help me.
You're enjoying
actually
life as
get
a
a
United
thing.
fan, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, well, to be honest, actually, I'm not too dismayed, and I will just say that purely because I'm just so used to it now. I think. Okay, so we were joking. We were at football last night. Man United were playing. It was 1-1 at half time, is what I knew it to be. Champions League, yeah. Ryan tells me, last time he knew it was 2-1 United. And I thought, okay, fine. I expect us to have lost. Guess what?
Yeah, you did say
It's
that. Yeah.
3-2.
You
I
weren't
just think-
surprised when you saw that, were you? When you saw that they
not
lost
at all.
3-2 in the end.
Not at all. And I also wasn't surprised to see when I looked at the box score, Casemiro got red carded.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
just small things like this. But I think for me, the last thing they should be doing is getting rid of the manager. Last thing they should be doing.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
unfortunately, that is the media narrative. People just go look around. Okay, the team's playing poorly. Oh, we can't blame it all on the owners, and which I don't think we can. But it's they don't blame it on the players. So it's a case of the manager's not. They're not playing for the manager, and it's like okay, well, he's gone. I don't think that's the case, by the way, because every time I
No,
watch
I
them, I
don't.
still think they're actually okay, and they're still creating chances. And also, I still think the effort level, which is the most key thing you can see about whether someone's playing for the manager, is still really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are just so many individual errors. And that brings me on. I don't want to keep Man United forever,
Oh,
but we did
yeah.
get asked a question about whether getting rid of David De Gea was a good thing. And there's no Nana to blame so far for their poor form.
It's kind of like the blame carousel with the players, isn't it? You've got rid of Ronaldo was the problem, he's gone. De Gea was the problem,
Yeah.
he's gone. Maguire's the problem, you don't get a game. When are they going to realise? And as much as I despise Gary Neville, and he does take the piss with blaming the Glazers on a lot of things, but at what point do they kind of go, we've got to change something here from top to bottom? I think, and I heard a United fan talking about how the culture, all they've done since Fergie's left is try to replace Fergie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that nucleus of a football club that rolls around the first team manager is their main focus, and that's all they've cared about, and a lot has been left behind because of it. Now, if you look at the difference that I know people say City fall off when Pep disappears, they don't. The foundations that they've built around him in every level, through the youth teams to the under-18s to the bench, all the way through to that first team, everything is built to succeed.
Yeah.
And I just feel like United go scattergun. They go, manager, this is the next.
Yeah.
This new manager will solve everything. That's problem
I agree.
solved. And they're leaving a lot of the important kind of fundamentals behind.
Yeah.
And that can often, and this is where high turnover of manager can have that impact. And sadly, I think Bournemouth might be paying the price for that now with quite a high turnover of managers over the last couple of years, ever since Eddie, really. What do you think about that, Josh? Do you think,
So can I
am I
quickly
banging
add
on the right
something
drum?
on the Onana?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on.
I've got a stat in front of me because obviously De Gea was such a good servant for Man United, and I'm a big De Gea fan. But in his first 10 games for Man United, he conceded 17 goals and kept 2 clean sheets. Whereas Onana in his first 10 conceded 18, but had 3 clean sheets in his first 10. So I think with what we saw with De Gea in that such long period of time at Man United, I think it's just going to have to give time for Onana to settle. Because we've seen in
I completely agree.
the Champions League and stuff like that he is a capable goalkeeper for like Inter Milan, Ajax. I think it's just getting used to a new league. I know he has probably got more errors leading to goals than De Gea in those first 10. But I think it's just a case of just giving him a chance to settle.
Yeah. I think at the time, though, the only argument I would say is that David De Gea wasn't like a super experienced goalkeeper.
No.
Yeah,
and
true.
Nana's been around the block. He's was he 27, 28 now? So it's like That's the only he has played in a Champions League final just this last season. So it's
Yeah,
not.
like I said, De Gea was young, very young.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I
But
would
is
say.
it not
However,
partly to do with who he's got playing in front of him? Because United have been completely scuppered from their central defenders this season.
Yes,
and he still managed to keep 3 clean sheets. So
I still think Varane and Lindelof are capable. You know, okay, Martinez is out for a while now, and we've got no left back.
I don't think it's a quality thing. I think as speaking as I'm a goalkeeper, it's important as a goalkeeper to know your back four. And like you've just said about injuries, like they're playing Varane, Lindelof one week, and then it's Varane and Evans with. Then they have Reguilon on left back. He gets injured. So they got Amrabat at left back. So it's not giving a chance to Onana to actually know his back four because of all the injuries, which also makes it difficult for him.
Yeah,
because he doesn't know whether like Varane and Martinez could be comfortable on the ball, whereas Evans might not want it. So you got like adapt to different play styles every week, which also makes it tough.
Nothing's kind of settled at the moment.
Yeah.
And because of that, I can understand where you get some of these performances, but I still think the quality is there to do better than they have been so far. I don't think it's the manager per se, by the way. I'm all for keeping the manager for as long as possible, because for me, I think that his kind of hard line stance on some of the player power that's been a problem and some of the issues recently is exactly the kind of thing that Man United need.
Yeah,
and even if that means clearing out still another 15 players who have been part of in the club for the last decade, and so be it. But knowing the club, they'll end up getting rid of Ten Hag in about 3 weeks if he loses another 3 games, and then they'll be in the exact same spot in. Again,
they'll limp
season.
through the rest of the season, won't they? And then that'll be it.
Yeah.
They'll struggle to find a better option than Ten Hag as well if they got rid of him. There won't be that many managers available on this level. Like Zidane's
Frankie Lampard, mate.
I think Zidane's waiting for the France job. Yeah,
Super Frank.
He might be going Rangers. So.
Oh God. They sacked the snake, didn't they? Rangers sacked the snake.
Yeah.
Good. Ta-ta.
They played his interview out on the radio today, actually, of not going anywhere. Why would I do it? I'm trying to set an example and whatever else. And then off he fucks.
Yeah.
That's the modern day era of football, though.
Yeah, of course it is.
I do want to touch on Bournemouth and to some degree Arsenal, of course, with Jack here, because you guys were actually at the game, weren't you? And the question I really have, and this is from a Bournemouth perspective, because they're the only team other than Sheffield United not to win a game. Now, to be fair, they've had their fixture schedule hasn't been brilliant, but are they in a relegation battle? Do you actually see them being in a relegation battle all season? I know Bill Foley came out and said he doesn't expect that to be the case. But
one thing I'd say is if you looked at the first 7 fixtures at the start of the season, I think if you said to us Bournemouth fans you'd get 3 points from them, you wouldn't be that gutted, that annoyed about it because of the fixtures we've had. So it's as long as we do as we're expected in our next 3, Everton, Burnley and Wolves, then I think that's when the judgment could come. So if we struggle against them 3 teams, then that's when the Iraola out brigade will come out. That's when the relegation scrap gets mentioned. But for now, as a Bournemouth fan, I'm not panicking at all, because in most games other than the Arsenal one, which was very, very poor, and obviously the Stoke one, but that was a different team, I think we've played well in the majority of the games, looked bright.
Yeah.
And I like his style of play. Just for whatever reason against Arsenal, it didn't really tick.
No.
Yeah, to be fair,
next
they were
3
playing
games are
pretty
huge,
clinical.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vital.
Yeah. I mean, we had this conversation in the chat. I think Neil put it out, didn't he? He said, he was asking about what do we expect from the next 3 games or something. And honestly, I'd love to say, we'll get 9 points,
Yeah.
But before we play City, that's obviously the dream. But, what do you expect? 6, 7? Out of that, really?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah,
I'll say
like
6 I'll be happy with. Because I'd say Everton away could be difficult because of the Goodson Park atmosphere, even though I know they lost to Luton. But if the fans get on top of you and if Everton get an early goal, then that can be a horrible place to go. So it's those home games after the international break of Burnley and Wolves, which you really need to be getting minimum 4 points from, even 6 if we do slip up against Everton at the weekend.
Yeah. Got to win your home games.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think they're all they're all winnable, aren't they? Basically, is the point.
Yeah.
Those are the next 3 are actually the winnable games.
Yeah.
100%.
Because November's pretty tough, isn't it? Bar
City and Newcastle.
Yeah, and Liverpool in the cup.
Yeah.
And then you roll into you got Sheffield United away as well, which I genuinely don't think is going to be a particularly easy game either. That would be a game that they're targeting as this is where we get our points. And then you've got Villa, Palace, and Man United. So
Man United
keeps rolling.
Yeah. So United's probably the easiest game out of that, Josh, isn't it?
They'll fucking smash Bournemouth that week. It'll be typical.
Yeah. And you'll be playing
Ten Hag will be hanging on by his fingernails, and he'll go and pull out a 7-0 win or something.
Yeah, the only thing, and this is not to be a pessimist, but the only thing is over the actual Christmas run, they're actually Luton, Forest, Fulham, and Spurs over the Christmas run. That's not when you want to be playing those teams, is it? Really, in those games, you want it to have a nice free schedule.
Yeah.
And then, I reckon that's. I disagree. I think that's the best time to play them. We all know how shit Fulham are. We've got to play them on Boxing Day. We're really pissing him off, aren't we? But joking aside, we'll see. It's a long old season, but points mean prizes, and we've got to get some points on that board.
See where you're at. See where you're at after Christmas. That's the way I always say it. See where you're at Christmas. If you're down there you're in trouble.
Anyway, come on. Should we move on to VAR and the controversy? I actually didn't see much of the game, to be honest. The Liverpool Spurs game, but
what a cock up!
Yeah, the audio's come out, hasn't it? I don't know really what to say. We do have, by the way,
bizarre. Go on.
Yeah, we do have audio from a member of our community, Craig again, who's the Spurs fan, who had a couple of things to say about the weekend, I would say.
I'm not sure whether you'll use this, but it's Craig here, the Spurs fan. I just think really now this whole VAR stuff's got to stop. I'm shocked that Klopp, even in his presser for the Europa League game tonight, mentioned the replay should happen. I don't think Liverpool have now just got to realise these mistakes happen. I think they've been the beneficiaries of lots in the past and move on. It's looking a little bit silly now, and it's almost becoming a whole of football against Liverpool, which I don't think is really what they want either. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Interesting, because he mentioned Liverpool specifically, and I guess maybe we'll come to that bit. But overall, what are we thinking?
I think there's only, if you look back on since VAR and since goal line technology, there's only really been one other monumental cock-up that has occurred, and it was a black or white cock-up, and it was that goal that inevitably meant that Bournemouth were relegated for Villa against Sheffield United. I think it was Sheffield United's goal against Villa, wasn't it? And it was the ghost goal. It was the goal line technology. The goal line technology wasn't working.
Yeah.
But that's the only.
It went like a foot over the line, didn't it?
Exactly. It was the first game after COVID, wasn't it? It was the first game they played behind closed doors, like they didn't have the technology on. And Nyland, who then ended up becoming Bournemouth goalkeeper in the Championship, was the goalkeeper who actually carried it over the line. So.
And he was shite as well, wasn't he?
and he was crap. Yeah.
But what my point is that there's a lot of harping back to what about this, what about that, what about this incident, and a lot of that was pretty subjective. But they are the two obvious cock-ups, but the two obvious black and white ones. And I understand Liverpool's upset with it, but I disagree that they should be even considering or even suggesting that it should be played again.
I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen.
No, of course not.
I mean, I have to admit, I agree with Craig. I know he's a Spurs fan, and obviously an element of focusing on the Liverpool gripe, but I just don't understand. And it's not like Klopp's not come out and said a few things that I get the frustration. Clearly, a black and white decision. I just.
Klopp's a smart guy, and I think he's dropped a bollock here. I think. What does he want? Does he want the whole game to start, and then at a certain point when
I thought he just wanted
Jota
to just
got sent off,
he
comes off, and then at the next point, I can't remember who else got sent off from. They come off as well, and then the goals go on the board at that same time. Like, what does he want? To play it all again? I think is just.
I don't think he wants
absurd.
Any of that, mate. I think he just is trying to make a noise around the fact that there are continuous cock-ups with VAR or weird decisions, and there's no consistency. We talked a little bit about it last week around consistency, and there doesn't seem to be that. So they need to sort their shit out. I mean, what is going on?
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any sort of set precedent as to what is or what isn't. There's still so many subjective rules, and the only difference about going to VAR is all it is two more people look at it and go and try and make a decision. I mean, why?
15 people in the fucking room.
It's madness. Why on earth are they not? When they were first looking at using video assistants, were they not going down the same routes as the rugby has, etc., etc.? I mean, Christ, they got it right. Okay, they had a few teething problems, but they've got it right. The football guys, they don't seem to be able to or open to input from any other sports that have used it successfully. They want to do it their own way.
Is that their decision, or is that
I think
Premier
it
League
is.
in the way?
It's PGMO
yeah.
in the Premier League.
And I just think it's complete and utter madness, and they really
surely that's
seriously.
just ego. That's just like,
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
of
it's
course
just
it is.
like,
I will do it, and we'll do it better. We'll do it better.
We know best.
It's just,
And it's bollocks.
exactly.
It's
We know
utter
football.
bollocks.
That's football we're focusing on. That's the sport.
Yeah,
Which they
but
clearly
they're
don't
not
know
thinking
what's
about
in-
the fans. They're not thinking about the fans, and they're not thinking about the players either. They're not thinking about it properly and how people need to be communicated what's going on for a start. That would help. But I mean,
I will just say, I think, Jack, you said this earlier on, or is it Ben? I can't remember. Someone said they were surprised they released it.
yeah, I was surprised.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I know they want to probably have some clarity over it, but I mean, what? You listen to that and you think, what?
Yeah.
How is it even like that? It's quite simple. It's goal or no goal. You don't confuse it all.
Yeah.
There's way too many.
The only
much
guy in
confusing
there that
language.
seems to know what he's talking about is the guy that's not even a referee.
Yeah.
Ollie's he's the guy that does the digital stuff on the screen and everything.
I mean, that's it.
And he's like, hang on a minute, we've started the game. You sure you're happy with that?
Yeah, guys, are you listening? He's literally going, guys, are you listening to what's being said? Because they're saying it's a goal, and he's saying it's a no goal. He's saying it's offside. They're saying it's not. Are you listening to this? Are you concentrating? It's bizarre. It's utterly bizarre.
What I find really strange about it is it's surely, just 2 seconds extra, you could have just clarified the decision. Just shut everyone up and go, wait a second, can you? What was the decision on the pitch?
I've got the perfect way of
it would take
solving
20
that
seconds.
problem. As they do in rugby and as they do in cricket, they go the VAR or the third. Was it the third umpire? I think it is on cricket. They go, we're looking at a leg before wicket here, or we're looking at a potential dropped catch here, or ball grounding before catch. And rugby, we're looking at a high tackle.
Yeah.
Whatever they say is they announce it instantly. And if they'd announced that at the very start instead of all these mate things and everything, I think the language they use, I think they definitely wouldn't use again, based on the fact that they know how quickly the PGMO are going to release this audio if there is something.
Yeah.
Because they are in a situation that it all seems a bit too clumsy and a bit too lackadaisical.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel professional. And that what
I
you
will
want
say,
to hear from them is need to know if that's offside or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they needed to say at that point. Announce it from the start. Cut all of the other fucking voices out. They've got an assistant VAR in there. So you've got the VAR, assistant VAR, and then the guy running the fucking digital screens and whatever else. The other two shouldn't be talking. The assistant VAR steps in when he goes, this is a subjective thing, I need your opinion. The VAR should go, right, what are we looking at here? Okay, we've given offside on field.
Yeah.
We need to review that.
Yeah.
The other thing is why did that lino give offside?
Yeah.
They never flag it.
No, that's really weird. Why on earth?
Yeah, that one is weird, because I was about to say, in a devil's advocate defence of the referees, is surely the rules need to change on how they can operate VAR, because they were bitching about the fact that they couldn't change the decision once they started play again.
Yeah, and I think,
and I'm just thinking to myself, if it's 2 or 3 seconds of play later and the ball was just being knocked around the back, surely you can stop the game, or the ref can just blow his whistle.
I think the problem was, though, they've been put under pressure about VAR taking too long.
Yeah.
So
that's what I thought in this instance, because I thought to myself, they thought. And that's why I thought there was at one point, and I can't remember the audio specifically, where they're patting each other on the back. Well done. But I was just like, isn't it?
But we got it wrong.
That was hilarious.
What?
Great process. Great process.
Well done, team.
Yeah. It was because they felt like they got to it much quicker than it felt like they went through it for the sake of speed.
Yeah.
It was
I think
like,
you're right.
this is a decision. It's a clear yes or no binary decision. And they obviously then didn't check which was given on the pitch, and then just like, it's onside,
Yeah,
no problem.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and for
Question
the
for
sake
you
of being
three.
quick.
Go on.
Me and Dad were having this chat earlier. If this is obviously coming from a place of bias, if this happened to a club like Bournemouth, Luton, Sheffield United, etc., would such a big thing have been made of it, and would the audio have actually come out, or is it because
I'd
it's
like
Liverpool?
to say yes.
and
I think
Spurs?
people
Yeah.
would make the same. I think people would have the same reaction. I think it's been taken a step further because it's Liverpool, but I think there still would have been noise around it, definitely, because VAR is so controversial anyway.
I do think the furore around it would be less depending on whether it was televised on Sky Sports at a particular time. So if it was a primetime game. So, for example, if it's a 3:00 Saturday game and, and it's Bournemouth versus blooming Brentford, I don't think it would get the same furore. Whereas if it's, 4:00 or 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon prime on Sky Sports, I don't. That's when I think you would have probably the same kind of discussion about it,
I agree.
because everyone's watching that game, if it's on. So,
It worries me though, because VAR. It wasn't that long ago that everyone was crying out for VAR to come in. We should be doing it. Blah 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 blah. And we've been had it now for how long? How many seasons have we had VAR? Is it 4, 5?
Yeah, I think it's
3 or 4. Yeah.
And they still haven't got it right.
Unfortunately, that boils down to the people that are in charge of it.
Yes.
I think the technology is there. I'm watching the Champions League last night when a few offside decisions were given, and they give you the digital automated offside lines, so it kind of gives you that almost instantly. And the Premier League teams voted against that, so that doesn't help. But also, what doesn't help is the incompetence of the referees that do it.
Yeah.
And I think they need to have a little look internally first and be better, do better. And it inevitably, in any walk of life, if you're not competent within the role that you are doing, eventually you are found out. Whether you admit it yourself and the writing's on the wall, or you are found out from it. Yeah. And I just feel like there is a level of that across it. At the same time, look at the dog's abuse they're getting. Who the hell would want to be a referee?
Oh, Christ, I don't know why they do it.
Exactly.
I know they talk about ex-players doing it, but I'm like, I'm pretty
I'd
sure
happily see an ex-player sat in a VAR room.
Yeah,
that's something I'd be for.
So as long as it's somebody,
input,
it's not fucking Martin Keown doing a Spurs Arsenal game. Do you know what I mean? You want to see, oh Christ, please no. You want it to be somebody that's relatively little unknown, or somebody that's hasn't had a huge media presence and never really known for
just
a
impartiality
rivalry or anything.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but you want somebody that has played the game to a standard.
You're not advocating for Jamie Carragher, are you?
Oh Christ,
Gary Neville.
I'd rather shit in my hands than that.
Oh mate, especially considering him and Gary did it on I think it's Gary's Overlap channel or something, didn't they? They did
that was quite good. With Keane did you see them refereeing a Sunday League as well, Roy Keane?
Yeah, Roy Keane.
I've seen that, yeah.
You just don't fuck with Roy Keane, do you?
Love it.
Yeah, it was class. Roy Keane said to Gary, like, well, they were calling you a wanker over here. And he's like, that's probably the nicest thing I've had said to me. Brilliant. Good banter.
So, all in all, I was going to quickly say just one very last thing. I know we've talked about it for a while. I don't suppose you guys see us going back, do you? VAR's here to stay.
No, it's here.
Oh, no chance.
Yeah,
the money they've invested, there's fucking more chance of Santa turning up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, lads, if you don't mind, we'll move on, if that's okay. We've covered VAR ad nauseum. I'm sure it will come back again in next week for another decision.
Just quickly, Newcastle beating PSG 4-1.
That's amazing.
4-1.
Yeah. I think City are winning as well, aren't they? 3-1.
Oh, fuck City.
3-1. 4-1.
Yeah, well,
they won as usual.
Oh, we won again, boys. That's what Scott sounds like, doesn't it?
I might as well put that in now. We keep this in. If I don't cut this, to be fair. So fantasy football. I just want to run over it because we've been chatting for a while. Strange week, really. I think mainly for quite, I wouldn't say engaged managers. Let's just say fantasy football managers. Things like keeping your Man United players when they've been terrible and things like this that I have done, to be fair. And so this week I was fed up. In fact, I was so fed up I did something I almost never do and completely knee-jerked a wild card. So to be fair, actually, I will say I was planning to do it in the next couple of weeks anyway. I just pulled it forward. And I'm quite thankful I did, considering player prices is becoming a bit of an issue for some of the players you might want to have your team. So I'm just going to really quickly run through. So I would just stress in advance to those people, though, who haven't used it, do not feel like you have to use it if you don't have to use it. I've changed 12 of the players in my team, so I think it's well worth it. But that's for my team. And that might not be the case for everyone else, because you may have a lot of the players I'm going to run through. So goalkeepers, I've got Areola and Turner, both starters, and as far as I can tell, Turner will stay that way for now for their teams. And my focus will be on Areola, who's the number one at West Ham. Yeah,
he's been unreal this season as well.
Yeah, they've got a couple of bad fixtures in the next two, but after that, it really opens up. And they're also two of the cheapest starting. Basically, the cheapest starting goalkeepers in the game. So, defenders, I have you'll notice I have a lot of the same kind of teams in here. So I've got Matty Cash.
Trippier.
No, I don't have Trippier.
I've got Trippier. Love him.
Sorry,
Destiny Doggy, Dan Burn instead of Trippier, because Botman's injured and he's the other one. He's basically the only one. I couldn't fit Trippier in because he's too expensive. And then I have like a cheap 3.9 million defender who plays minutes, and that's Charlie Taylor for Burnley as like a bench fodder. And then I haven't decided, but one of either Gabriel, because Arsenal
he's cheap
in
enough.
the next couple of weeks will have good fixtures, so that's looking ahead. And then any of the three West Ham defenders, so Agard, Kufal or Zuma, who are all 4.5 million.
Yeah.
Haven't decided, but I think at the moment it's likely.
He pops up with assists, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think it's likely I do a West Ham defender because of the money, because I can't. The extra 0.2 million to have Gabriel means I can't do other things. So those are the ones. Then in midfield, this is going to be really template, i.e. everyone's going to have a lot of these players. So Salah, Son, Maddison, easy picks. Diaby from Aston Villa if he's fit, and then either one of James Ward-Prowse, Anthony Gordon, although he is suspended for the next game.
Well, sorry, suspended.
And then you could go Pedro Neto for cheap as well. The other one I had is Jared Bowen if you can afford him.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
But he's quite a bit more expensive than the other three, so it depends on the money you have. I'm so thankful, finally, I'm going to have Salah in the team and some Spurs players. So it's desperate.
Got a question,
with that.
Josh.
Yeah.
International break is coming up, isn't it, after this game week?
Yeah.
Would it not have been a better choice to wait to see how players fare in those internationals without injuries?
It would have been. Yes, it would have been.
But he's
and I don't
knee-jerked
doubt that. I have knee-jerked it. Yes, it would have been. That's when I had planned to play it. So I had actually planned to play it next week in that break.
So that's kind of your advice. If you haven't played it yet, it would
I
be
would
worth
advise if you're
considering.
going to play it soon, play it either game week 9 or 10. People talk about game week 10, but I advocate using those 2 weeks in the international break because things can happen, which mean that you're waiting till game week 10 might be a problem for your team. The great thing about it, although people aren't massively engaged during the international break, is that if you know you're going to do it literally as the deadline turns over this week, game week 8, wild card.
Prices change.
And then pick all the players that you think are going to go up in price, or the players you want. Think of it, and then change them as and when you know the week. So, for example, if you know you're going to have Son or Maddison and people like that, just put them in. But if there's someone who's does really well this weekend, scores a hat-trick like Evan Ferguson, and he's going to skyrocket in price for the next 2 weeks while you're waiting, just put him in, save the team, and then when you come to actually the end of near the deadline of the international break,
firm it up.
You can take him out and hopefully bank an extra 0.1 million, assuming he's gone up twice in that time. So and then change who you're playing. So
yeah, that makes
it
sense.
doesn't always work like that, but those are just things to look out for, is all I would say. My forward line on the wildcard quickly: Haaland, obvious, he's staying. Watkins for now, although Alvarez is fine if you don't have the money. And then Cameron Archer from
Chef.
Yeah, nice.
Sheffield United. And if you really can't afford him and you've got a bench and you really need the 0.2 million or something, just get Mbama from West Ham, because he's 4.3. So you're
Josh,
barely going to play him anyway. Yeah.
I've got a quick question. Who's top of the fantasy league?
All right, are you going to say it's you? Because I haven't checked.
Yeah, it is.
It is me.
Yeah. All right, then you should be doing this bit. Why are you listening to me then?
I've just seen that Neil got the top points this week as well.
He
So
was very happy with that.
Puttick double. We had Ollie Watkins, didn't he?
Yeah,
Can I just
he
say-
said-
Oh wow!
He said that to me. He took out Estupinian and he had Watkins on his bench for whatever reason. So took
Yeah,
Estupinian out, put Watkins in.
And lo and
Estupinian
behold.
gets -2 points, and Watkins gets whatever he got for scoring a hat trick and whatever.
23 or something silly.
I'll give him that one.
I had a little cheeky one this week because I said I'd put Morris in from Luton Town. I captained him as well.
Oh,
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow, Ben.
I took the captaincy off Haaland and put it on Morris. I thought, why not? And then
That's
fortunately,
worked a
he scored.
treat.
He should actually have got 2 in the first game. I think there was one. It was offside, but yeah. So I was quite pleased with that. Nice little touch.
That's quality.
Yeah. Nice. Ryan did ask me something before the podcast started. He asked me about captain, or rather, he mentioned captain.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this week. This is probably one of the only weeks I will not be captaining Haaland this week.
I
He
think
loves
the
a goal
same.
against Arsenal.
Yeah, I know, but I have him in Son against Luton. And
I was thinking
I'm sorry,
Son.
but
Yeah.
that's probably where I'm going to go. Oh, I don't know. Debating it, but I'm probably going to land on playing Son. Just a really, really last quick thing. Just if you're not wildcarding and you've got some transfers to use, basically Newcastle, Aston Villa, Spurs are the 3 teams I would target. I tend to avoid Newcastle forwards, but their defenders definitely, and then pretty much any of your doggies, Son, Madison, or all of them, and then Aston Villa players. So Diaby, Watkins, Cash, are the
I think
people I'm
Diaby's
looking
got
at.
a knock actually, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
does.
think
So
he
he's
has.
one to look at. He's one to look at
Don't
because
say
Emery
that.
said he wasn't playing tomorrow.
He's not trained. Yeah, and
You
he's
boys
not
have
playing
named
in
3
the,
players who are in my FPL team who might
Wow.
have knocks.
That's what happens though, right? You have a good week, get to the top of the league, and then bosh, knocked back down.
Yeah, yeah.
I know,
Um,
yeah.
I would just, by this stage, I just give up on Man United players. Fernandes, Rashford.
Much
If you
like
have them
most
this week,
Man
that's
United
fine.
supporters, mate.
Like, yeah, exactly. And then the only Liverpool player I'd be targeting at the moment is Salah, just because I don't know about any of the minutes for the others. Anyway, that's it, lads. I've got for fantasy. Unless you would
Well
like
done, mate.
to,
Good work, Josh.
we'll get Ryan back on to give us when he's still top of the league next week to do the
Yeah,
fantasy.
brilliant. Yeah, cheers. When all my players are injured.
Ryan's roundup. That's what we need.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay.
Ben.
Much better than Josh's shitty little theme tune.
What you mean? It's literally Adam West Batman. It's not shitty.
I like that, Josh. I like that.
I'm not even as old as you guys. I know that.
All right. Yeah, all right, Josh.
Right. Well, thank you. Thanks again, Ryan, for joining us, and
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you
mate.
everybody for
Thank you
tuning
for
in.
having me,
It's been a pleasure, mate. It's been really, really good, and yeah, please keep pushing. We have just hit 500 listens of the podcast, which has been amazing.
Brilliant.
10 episodes in, so I'm quite happy with that. We'll see how it keeps going and continue to talk our tripe on here if you continue to listen, I guess.
Yeah, and do tune in next week to see if the Super Blues have managed to get the quadruple.
Of course you will.
I'm gonna have to try my best on the pitch to keep, especially
You
Ben,
are,
especially
come on,
Ben,
mate.
especially Ben quiet. Because otherwise, the podcast next week, you might lose a listener because of the amount Ben's going to talk about if he scores against me.
Me and Josh will be watching, I'm sure, and I might even get the phone out and get some footage.
Get some footage.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Nice.
Andre Onana form incoming for Ryan, then, isn't it?
Yeah,
We'll see. Look forward to it, mate.
Right. Been a pleasure, chaps. Look after
Cheers,
yourself.
mate.
Cheers, lads.
Yeah, take care,
Cheers.
everyone.
Thanks a lot, lads.
Cheerio.